our city council, passed it, and the mayor signed the bill, where we call it the Climate Action Plan. And the Climate Action Plan surpasses the California level as well as the federal government, who does not have a strong climate action plan at all. And that we're trying to challenge other cities in California that by the year 2017, then 2030, and then in 2050, we will incrementally reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. Now, this is more than just symbolism. The strategy we're using, again, is enforcement. Enforcement is that through our ability to be able to capture the CO2 emissions, both within the private sector, corporation sector, and within government, the public sector, we're being able to assess by those levels that there's baseline information now if we'll be able to bring those CO2 emissions down. The answer is yes, we will. The question is will there be compliance? And based on compliance, enforcement in place will be able to help achieve those particular levels. Many think in the federal government those are aggressive. Many of us think that the federal government is not strong enough, which is why we, I think from a municipal level, feel it's important that the grassroots within cities begin to step up to challenge both state and federal governments. There are also other laws, such as the one that was mentioned, that deal just with, I think, the aesthetic, the beautification of San Francisco. Like your country, we believe we have a very beautiful city here, and we want to make sure that our city is protected. And so we want to, I think, dissuade or discourage people from feeling that they can just go ahead and throw their debris in the street and not worry about the consequences. As it relates, I think, to, that relationship to one who wants to smoke, it's not cool to just do so without understanding some consequence that there will now be a higher tax assigned to cigarettes. That tax assigned to cigarettes, which will be one of the highest in the country, will then be allocated back to San Francisco's Department of the Environment so that it will mitigate, I think, any kind of debris or cleanup caused by cigarettes or other debris. This is our way of certainly trying to enhance revenue. We're trying to be creative about making sure that that revenue enhancement is a dedicated stream of funding towards the protection of the environment and towards preventative strategies so the environment then therefore is further helped in the future. I can begin to answer any questions if people would like.
We are going to pass the microphone.
¿Hay preguntas? ¿Alguien que quería preguntarle a la señora? Hay que usar eso.
Buenas tardes, muchas gracias, señor Mirkarimi, por su conversación. La pregunta que más me interesa es realmente ¿qué pasos dieron para alcanzar
San Francisco to this full ban, and how would you evaluate compliance to this ban?
I'm having a hard time hearing the translator, so maybe if the translator can speak just a little bit loud.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, a little bit better.
All right.
One more time.
The lady who was asking this question, she would like to know what steps you followed to really put up this ban, and she would like to know the percentage of compliance with the regulations.
The percentage of compliance is 100% now in the stores that we targeted. We targeted stores who distribute plastic bags with a gross income of $2 million or more. So all major grocery stores and all pharmacies who had a gross income of $2 million more, which is a population, the largest stores of 155 stores in San Francisco, make up for 80%, almost 80% of the total plastic bag inventory that's disseminated in the city and county. that means that upwards to 100 million bags, 80% to 100 million bags, has been targeted by the plastic bag ban. We were then able to send, and because it was such a small universe, 155 stores is not a lot of stores. So then if we're able to then send out our ability to inventory compliance in that orbit universe of those stores, there's 100% compliance right now. Another question?
Can you hear me? Can you?
Sure.
There's another question.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Con respecto a los recipientes
Regarding the styrofoam containers
el señor mencionó
that
que
you mentioned,
se estaba tratando de aplicar
you said you were also trying to apply restrictions
a nivel de los restaurantes.
at the level of restaurants mostly.
¿Cómo opera en este caso
Now, in this second example,
la prohibición?
how does the ban really function?
Well, this is more of a challenge because there are thousands of restaurants in San Francisco. And because there are thousands of restaurants in San Francisco, and many are, very conspicuous, and some are not, this requires field sampling, as if you were a scientist and you were then able to go out and take field studies of a sample, whether it was an air sample or a water sample. We send environmental enforcers to do field sampling of restaurants regularly, and they take different parts of the city unannounced to determine if there is compliance with these bans. And so far, the feedback we've been getting is excellent. We've been seeing in many of the restaurants a strong compliance, upwards to about 75%.
We have another question. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
You mentioned economic sanctions or penalties for people who do not comply with the new regulation. Have you taken other steps that are not financial sanctions, other kinds of sanctions? That's my specific question.
The answer is yes.